There you go. Should be working now.
Alright, let's see.
It's not going to show up on there again. I'm going to have to pull it up again. That's the old one. It's not going to restart this one.
Oh,
No, it's going to be a new one.
okay. Let's see. It's probably going to have to go back and
Refresh this.
refresh it and see what happens. See if we got a...
Sorry, guys. I think we had a phone die on us or something there. Not really sure
Oh,
what
gosh
happened.
dang cell phones.
There we go.
Hey, there I am. We're back to one viewer again. Look at that.
Sorry, guys.
Interesting.
Oh, we got a couple now.
Alright, yeah. I'm going to just do an adjustment on my camera. Go. Where are you going?
I can. If you...
Oh, yeah, just going to push it to the left a little bit. Yeah.
Like that?
Can't see it yet. The delay. Yeah, so we're back to 3. So 5 quickly. Thanks guys for coming back to see us. We lost a phone, so sorry about that. We lost a phone and it died, but we're back. And just to finish things up, we got a little bit more to cover with you guys.
Let's
Just
start off here with one of your
did you know?
Did you knows? Yeah, the sign ones.
The sign ones, yeah. Let's get back to the did you knows. Real quick, did you know that the tailgate on a truck is actually the best place to advertise your business name or logo? Is the tailgate of a truck. Why? Because it has the longest viewing time of any other area of the vehicle. When you're stopped, that's where they have time to write down phone numbers and websites and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Or
you
snap
have to keep
a
an eye on the
picture or
comments. I can't watch those anymore.
No, that's fine.
So, but yeah, so the tailgate or the rear window of the vehicle actually is the best place.
Awesome. Nice to see you guys back. Got 6 viewers now. Nice to see you guys join back with us. Sorry about that little interruption we had with the phone, but
We will make sure that does not happen again.
glad to see you guys came back.
That won't happen again. Okay, so that's the next one I shared. So what do you got?
All right. Also, another thing I wanted to mention too is, did you know that red and black do not go together? We get a lot of people, especially with racing stuff, that want to put red and black together. They think it's a really cool color combo, and it looks nice in certain types of situations, but more often than not, red is a dark color also, and a lot of people don't think that it is, but when you put it on black especially, red is a dark color, so what you don't want to necessarily put 2 dark colors together. So
Yeah, and red and black, and they can look good together, and they can be used together, but they got to really be done right. It's really got to be done properly, and it's so difficult to do because, like you mentioned, they both are dark colors. And if you ask any guy, typically, most guys, you ask them what your favorite color is, 9 out of 10 of them is going to say black or red, or both.
mm-hmm.
So that, I think, is where black and red tends to typically get overused a lot. But especially using black and red next to each other, even if it's a bright red, and black, they're still dark colors. The hue of the red is still a dark color.
Well, that, and I feel like the black being, especially if you use the black as like a drop shadow and you put the red on top, I feel like the black is going to darken the red even more than it already is. So it's just, yeah. I understand that red catches the eye and black is kind of like a standard color, but the two just don't really mix together, more times than not. So, you got another one that you'd like to share?
Let's see. Let me share a funny one first, or a fun one. Then we'll go back to the serious one right after that. How about, did you know that lightning strikes the earth 6,000 times every minute?
Wow.
Imagine that.
6,000 a minute?
Yep.
I don't even see how that's possible.
Yep. 6,000 times a minute. That's what I said too. So yeah, and then did you know that the most common mental illnesses are anxiety and depression?
Yeah, I can see that. That's quite a thing that a lot of people underestimate nowadays.
Yeah, and it's a very serious thing, and a lot of people don't take it seriously. I think that ultimately a lot of people can overcome this with the proper person to talk to maybe. But I think that a lot of times it can be over controlled or taken care of personally, different ways and naturally, rather than pharmaceutically. But yeah, it's a difficult thing to deal with. Sometimes it can be a death. It can be something very serious in your life going on And it can be a very serious thing and sink someone into really deep depression. So it never hurts to go out of your way for 1 minute and reach out to any friend on your friends list. Any friend, just randomly pick one. Send them a message saying, I just wanted to say hi today. How you doing? I hope everything's going well.
Mm-hmm.
Just randomly.
Just touch base with somebody.
Randomly go through your friends list and drop. That's what I'd like to challenge people to do today. Just randomly go through your friends list. Grab the first one you see. Doesn't matter who it is. If you know the person very, very well, if they're your relative, if you just spoke to them yesterday, it doesn't matter. Go through your friends list, find one friend, and just send them a private message and say, I hope everything's going well today. Just wanted to drop a line and say hi.
Don't hurt. Takes 2 seconds.
Yeah. And if you did one a day, you could get through all your friends in, 6 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, what else do you got for us?
I'm going to share a really quick fun fact before we get on to the serious stuff. Did you know that the word stewardesses is the longest word that is typed with only the left hand?
That's not true. In my case, it's one of the additional words that's typed with one finger.
Yeah, I was just about to get into that actually, because I don't use the keyboarding system. I was never very
I'm kind of
efficient.
interested if anybody
at
does
that.
anymore. I mean, with cell phones now, it seems like it really screw things up, you know?
Yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel like I can text faster than I can type something. I don't use that whole system where you have your home keys and stuff. I
Believe
just
me,
kind
she
of
can text very fast.
I just kind of look and I'm like, and then I look up on my screen. I'm like, oh, I misspelled this.
I think texting is like a girl thing. It really just, you guys have like a natural talent to just like.
And when you have autocorrect too,
It
that
sounds
really
like,
helps.
It sounds like Morse code, like you're sending it. It's like, and they'll be like, take notes or something, or send somebody a text, and I'll be like, okay, I'm still on the first 3 letters.
Lisa says she still uses the keyboard system.
Okay, well, I'm glad somebody does, because
Because I know
it doesn't work. I can't get my fingers on the phone like that. But
yeah, exactly, yeah.
anyway, so moving right along, let's share a fact about business. How about, did you know that people do not tend to write down telephone numbers off signs or vehicles?
Yeah.
We all put them on there. We all put them on there thinking it's super duper important. We have phone numbers on our stuff, on everything, and but ultimately people do not write down phone numbers of vehicles and signs.
I think especially nowadays, I take a picture of something more than I do
Yes.
writing it down.
And that's a good point. I was talking to a customer the other day about this, and actually we were talking about business cards, and they were talking about how often they don't refuel their business card supply. And I said, well, and they've noticed over the years that they're using less and less business cards. Well, it's not that they're putting less out, it's that less people are taking them. Why? Because there's no need to take a business card anymore. It's more convenient, a lot more convenient, just to take a picture of the card on your phone. You can bring the card home with you without even taking it off the bulletin board.
And I can't tell you how many times I've done that. The only time I take business cards anymore is if I'm taking it to get the email address to add to like a contact list in my emails. That's really the only reason I've ever taken one.
And even then, it can be done just through a photo.
Well, then it's not that I would even lose it either. It'll fit right in my wallet, but I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna lose it, so I take a picture because my phone has everything on it anyway.
I think our cell phones have become our organizers.
Yeah.
So everything is right there. And you can actually take that card and you could put that business in your phone as a contact, and you could use that business card as the photo for that contact. So
yeah.
It's actually a smart way to do it, and very cost beneficial for all of you that are spending money on business cards. So now you can get 250 business cards, probably last year as long as 1,000 would have before. So definitely something to think about as you put business cards out there.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't ever underestimate advertising space. We talked about this before, I think. We touched base on this in a different video. If the space is on a bulletin board, use it. Put a business card up. That's free space. Mm-hmm. If you was to pay for that ad in a newspaper or a placemat or whatever, you're going to pay some cash for that ad. And you have bulletin boards out there that are free. Mm-hmm. You get a business card size ad for free.
In full color.
Yeah, in full color, whatever you want it to be. So utilize billboards all over the place. It doesn't matter. Remember, it's about getting your name out there for exposure,
out in
not
front of
about
people's
just getting
faces
phone calls.
all the time. Because I know that myself, if I don't know anyone that could give me a good recommendation for a service that I've never used before, I'm going to go with a company where I've seen their logo around quite a bit. Because typically that's what I will do. I'll be like, hey, you know, I see this company around all the time.
Check
you
them
know,
out.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm more apt to go to them because I see their logo and their services or their videos or whatever in front of my face all the time.
Yep.
So.
And common sense is to want to help somebody. You know, you want to help somebody who's asking for a recommendation, and the best way you can do that is just refer them to somebody that you are familiar with. And you may not be familiar with their product or service directly, but you see a lot of their vehicles or a lot of their shirts, or you always see their guys out cutting lawns and they're in uniforms and they're all nice and everybody matches and they're nice and neat, and that really is a big statement for your business.
That stuff matters to people.
Or you drive by a business, gosh, they got this really gorgeous, beautiful new sign out front, and it just really looks nice and it's kept up nice. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge for recommendations.
Yeah.
It says you care.
All right, I think I'm going to do one more serious one, and then we'll do one more fun one. I think we're going to let you guys go today because we don't want to take up your lunch is almost over. Next thing, kind of going to tag on to that a little bit about how business cards are still really important. One of the most important tools, did you know, for business promotional items, one of the most beneficial is ink pens. A lot of people don't think that ink pens are beneficial anymore, but they actually exchange hands quite a bit. And especially if you spend the money to get yourself a decent pen, not a really cheapo one. If you spend the time to get yourself a nice pen, people like to have at least one or two nice pens on them all the time for their own use. And I feel like once you put your logo on a pen, people are more apt to use that, to give them out, to give them to other people. I think it's a very important promotional tool.
And again, it's about getting your name in front of people's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, years ago, a statistic was out there that actually ink pens exchanged hands only second to cash. Cash is the only thing that exchanged hands more than ink pens. And this was back, I don't know, probably 5 years ago. But now with the use of debit cards and credit cards and things like that type of thing, I'd be willing to bet that ink pens is right up there.
Mm-hmm. It's probably still at least in the top 5, I would say.
Yeah. If not taking over cash, but
especially with the cards.
I don't know that for a fact, but ink pens do exchange hands an awful lot, and so we gave lots of tips before on the I don't know, one of the advertising videos or something that we did in the past, but go back and check those out. One quick thing I wanted to add real quick on the serious note before we close out is advertising space, and this is interesting. I don't know if I ever even covered this with you before, but it's interesting because a lot of times. Oh, I want to talk about copyrights too. I'm going to let you turn you loose on this and some fun facts real quick because I have to run up and grab something. But advertising space. A lot of times we'll get people that will come in. I'm going to wait on that. Because it's going to pigtail on what I'm going to go grab.
Okay.
So you go ahead and cover some fun facts, anything else you can think of for the business, and I'm going to come back and I'll come back and see you in just a second. Just gonna go grab something real quick.
All right, got one more serious one here for you guys. Did you know that social media is arguably the #1 most beneficial tool to advertise your business? But believe it or not, trailing not too far behind social media is still print work. So I find that to be kind of ironic that, #1 is social media, obviously, because of the times we live in, but print work doesn't fall too far behind social media in that aspect. So I thought that was a very cool thing to read. Print work is not dead. So if you guys get a chance, you want to hear more about the print work we've talked about, go back, check out our previous videos. We did have a video talking all about print work and is print work really dead. So make sure you go back, check that out. We covered lots of different ideas of print work and ways that they're still very, very beneficial for you today. While we're waiting for him to get back with his little example there, we got a couple more fun items. Fun facts I want to share with you guys. Did you know? Let me see. I'm trying to actually see which ones I liked the best. This one was kind of funny. Did you know that an ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain? I don't know if I've ever seen an ostrich in person to see, but now I'm gonna be looking at ostrich's eyes every time I go to a zoo, and if I see one, I'm definitely gonna be looking for that. Another one. Did you know the longest recorded flight of a chicken was 13 seconds? I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever heard of someone trying to break a record on that, but apparently there is a record, and it's 13 seconds for a flying chicken. And last one I wanted to share with you guys is, did you know that dreamt is the only word in the English language that ends in MT?
Did you know that everybody out there right now is trying to think of other words that end in MT?
Mm-hmm. I know I did. And I thought I had one, and then I spelled it out, and it was not right.
So the last serious thing I wanted to cover with you guys was on advertising space. And I apologize, I could not find what I was looking for. I wanted to show you. But interesting enough is we get a lot of people that will that we see out and about, and there's friends, type of thing. And I joke around with a lot of people, and I like to joke around with people that have like advertisements for vehicles in their windows. People that have like, I won't mention names, but vehicle manufacturer logos in their windows. Not the dealership, but the manufacturers of the vehicles. People that have stickers in the back windows of that vehicle type, sometimes they will get a giant one or little ones or whatever. I always like to joke with people, and I always like to tell them, that I will pay you the same amount of money that for that space on your window that company pays you for.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. Let's say somebody comes to us, or somebody out there has a big Ford logo on their window, or Dodge or Chevrolet or whatever it may be.
And how much is that manufacturer paying you to have that logo on your vehicle?
Right. And again, these are thoughts from an advertiser's standpoint.
Perspective.
So this is kind of how we see things.
Yeah,
sometimes.
this is just in our opinion.
Which is funny. It's just a funny thing. I mean, we all are going to do it. We're happy with the brands that we buy. We advertise a market for them. It is what it is, and that's fine and dandy. We just always treat it as a big joke, and it's kind of a big funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
I always joke around with friends and say, I'm going to pay you the same amount of space that they're paying you for that space in your window. I want that space. And they're going to be like, well, they didn't pay me for that space. I bought that. I'm like, you bought it? You paid money to put their name on your vehicle, on your window? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, how much are you going to pay me to put my logo on your window? And they don't get it. It's like, to me it's funny. I laughed. I thought it was funny. It's interesting to know that, we do that. And advertising space is so important. Like, for example, this coffee mug. I bought the mug because it was cool. It's flamed. It looks cool. I like the flames. It advertises for Top Thrill Dragster. It's a Cedar Point mug. I mean, seriously. We don't even think about those things, but we advertise for people every day in the things that we do.
My mug's fine.
Whatever. Anyway, you wear certain jeans, certain shirts, whatever it may be, and they all have brands on them, or tags, or stickers, or some sort. So you advertise every day for companies, and you don't even realize it. But that space is valuable,
especially with brands. Yeah.
Ask yourself, what would you pay for your business to be in that area, in the name, in the eye so much?
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why we talk about, like, for example, someone wearing Levi Strauss. Okay, they're gonna have this big brown tag on their butt, right? It says Levi Strauss. Well, we talk about this all the time. You put your name out there to expect a phone call. I'm sure Levi Strauss doesn't get flooded with phone calls every time somebody sees that brown tag on somebody's butt.
Mm-mm.
Right?
No.
I mean, but again, they're getting their name out there. It's a very popular.
And they hope that being in front of the people's eye as much as they are,
and
that
it
they'll
works.
get more sales from it. Exactly.
And it works.
And now they're one of the biggest companies out there for that.
And you
product.
ask somebody a brand name of jeans, and they're probably going to tell you Levi's is going to be in the top two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how that works. But again, they don't get flooded with phone calls. So
no.
I think that's very important to consider. So.
Did you have any more fun facts you wanted to share? I got all my good ones out of the way while you were gone.
There was something, I can't remember what it was. Shoot, something
Probably
I did
haven't
not.
had enough caffeine today.
Yeah, I could use more coffee. There was something I couldn't. I was right there and I lost it.
You didn't want to talk about this at all.
Other than the fact, I guess we could talk about it real briefly. So let's make it a did you know. Did you know that a lot of the media on the internet is copyrighted?
Mm-hmm. There's copyrighted artwork, especially for things that come from, TV shows, or even like he was talking, major manufacturers like Chevy, Ford, Dodge. A lot of it is copyrighted unless you buy it from someone who has the rights to use that copyright.
Who purchased the rights for that, right?
Who purchased the rights for it.
And we do. There are certain things. There are certain corporate things that we do, in fact, go through the procedure of purchasing the copyrights to be able to produce certain decals.
Because some of it is so widely used, we kind of have to get the rights for it, to be able to make that. But there's a lot of people who will not go through that process, and they'll recreate things that are copyrighted, and
they can get in trouble, big trouble.
Big, serious legal trouble.
But to jump back to the copyrighted things on the internet, so a lot of times we'll get customers come to us and they say, well, I found this really cool clip art on the internet of this really cool dude, this little cartoon guy, and I want to use him. Well, that's fine and dandy. You can use it as long as you're not violating any copyright issues. If it's drawn by a certain particular artist, think about it. If your talent was drawing and you drew something very specific and you put it out there for people to see it, that's your visual art. That's your visual talent being viewed by people. However, now you have somebody taking your talent that you put all your time and efforts and thought into, and they're using it for their own personal gain without compensating you at all. Now, if that's your only talent, your only way to make money, that's not a good way for you to live. Obviously, you're not going to make any money that way with people stealing your stuff. It's basically like some guy selling lawnmowers, and somebody just keeps coming up stealing his lawnmowers. How's he going to make any money? He can't survive. His business or his way of making money or making his living is selling lawnmowers for his family. Okay? Well, if people just come and steal lawnmowers and keep taking lawnmowers, this gentleman can't support his family, can't pay his bills. So again, if your talent is something that's artistic, that can be easily stolen, like drawings or artwork, that's so easily taken because you have to put a visual out there for people to see. Mm-hmm. And it's very dangerous. And copyrights is something, I don't like to mess with. If it's something you find on the internet and you pay for the rights to use it and you bring it to us, that's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But we prefer not to mess around with something like that because we are artists. We understand what a designer went through to get that image out of their head and onto paper. And we don't want to discredit that. And take on that because we understand what it's like.
Right. As well as everybody should. It's just, like I said, it's like stealing lawnmowers from some guy trying to make a living. So everybody's trying to make a living, and we're all in it together. As Red Green says, we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. I'm pulling for you.
All right. I think, unless you got one more fun fact you'd like to share, I think we're going to wrap it up. You're telling me out of those 2 sheets, you don't got one fun fact you want to share?
Did you know that hummingbirds are the only bird that can fly backwards?
Yes, actually, I did know that. I heard that somewhere. I read an article on that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's weird. Did you know that a quarter of your bones are in your feet?
Huh. There are a lot of bones in there. I didn't know there were that many. Well, I guess that's believable.
Now you know. Did you know that you burn more calories sleeping than you do watching TV?
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
Yeah, I've heard people talk about why you eat certain foods before you go to sleep because you burn some of them slow or whatever, or it's a slow burning thing while you sleep. I think you actually told me that toast. That's why you have toast before bed because it's a slow burning
sometimes
carb while you sleep or something. Yeah, so I can believe that. Yeah.
It's more entailed than that. Toast or bread is a fast carb, but it's like peanut butter is a slow carb. Yeah.
All right. Well.
So, anyways, let's get to make sure I didn't miss anything here. I think we talked about everything.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think
so. next week, what are we thinking? Maybe next week we're going to come back. I don't know. We might talk about signs. We might talk about graphics. We might talk about advertising or
Might
marketing.
talk about you. Who knows?
Yeah, I might talk about you.
Might find a
You
customer.
know what I want to do though before we closed out? I wanted to see first of all if anybody watching out there would share a simple "Do you know" with us.
Yeah, is there anything that you got? Any fun facts you guys know?
What could you
that
share
we
with
may not
us
know?
that we don't know? You know, I'd be interested to find that out. And
And I want to know.
yeah, send it to us. You know what I mean? If you're not even on the live or you're watching this video later on after it's not live anymore, send us a PM. You know,
Private message.
Yeah, private message us. I'm just trying to get out.
I know.
PM us that did you know fact, you know, type of thing, and we'll try to share that on the air here next week with this again. So that's tough letters to spit out. PM.
I got what you're saying. That's okay.
PM is
All
tough
right,
letters.
we're gonna cut it loose because obviously neither of us can talk anymore. I think
I
we've
need
exhausted
coffee.
our.
I need coffee.
We need more coffee. So, do you want me to go stop it this week?
I'll go stop.
Okay.
All right. All right. Peace out, guys. We'll see you
All right.
next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the Did You Know? And drop us a line. Tell us what you know. Later, guys.
Because we know you guys know a lot. Wow, I need more coffee right now.